Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. And I don't know if all the other board members have met our associate medical officer of health, but that's Dr. Norton. Welcome. Nice to see you in person at the meeting. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew him by face as well. And then we had a quick announcement. Amy did have her baby. She had a healthy baby boy and all is going well. So we're pleased to hear that. And with that, Rose is supposed to be here, but she is running a little late. But we have quorum, so I thought we would get started because we have a full agenda today. So we'll move on to conflict of interest declarations. Do any board members have any conflicts to declare?
That's on my car.
Seeing none.
So much.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated? Oh, okay. Oh, we did make a slight amendment there. So we are breaking out number 13 and changing that to 13.1, part being an open session and part being in a closed section for a strategic planning workshop. With that change, can I have a motion to approve it as amended with that? And that's Councillor John, second by Councillor Metcalf. All those in favor? Great. And now we'll move into our closed session. So take the motion and so can I have a motion to enter into closed session now at 9:05 to discuss 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3 pursuant section 239(2) E, F, D, and B of the Municipal Act 2001. Matters pertain to litigation or potential litigation, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, labor relations, and personal matters about identifiable individuals. Motion by Member Bodnar, seconder, Member Martin. All those in favor? Carried. Okay. We will move into closed session. Any staff and members of the public in attendance are asked now to please leave, and then we'll call those back once we go back into open session.
I'll stay. The consultants that are behind us that are doing our orientation today are Ian and Monica. They've been with us the entire time. They're under contract and under confidentiality agreement. No one has any objections. They can stay for close.
And then we'll go through the motions that we did in open or in closed section. So 4.1, can I have a motion to receive that reported information and defer that to the next government committee for further consideration? Member Bell, seconder. Member Bodnar. All those in favor? That's carried. And then for 4.2 dealt with in closed sections, can I have a motion that staff proceed as directed in closed session referring to item 4.2? Member Huffman, Member Metcalf, seconding. All those in favor? Carried. And then we'll move on to 4.3, executive compensation. Can I have a motion that staff proceed as directed in closed session regarding item 4.3? Member Bell, Member Martin, seconding that. All those in favor? It's carried. And then section 5, we have nothing right on that. Okay, so we'll move on to section 6, the standing report. Then 6.1 report from the CO. Turn that over to you again, Sarah.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you to the board. This is a report that was requested for governance training options for your executive leadership team. And so I presented 6 different options available across Ontario in both online, hybrid, and in-person formats. The prices range from $2,500 to $6,000, and we do have a merger education budget for governance training of up to $50,000. Happy to take any suggestions or proceed forth with any training as needed for the executive leadership team. Available for any questions.
Member Sicoli, welcome.
Hi. First of all, I apologize. I thought the meeting started at 9:30, so I didn't mean to come in all loud and boisterous. I would come in a little more gracefully had I known. So thank you for that. So on this topic, I was reviewing the options and I'm curious if you have preference, because I've actually done governance training and I found a lot of value in that being in person and, just meeting and networking and having that chance to do it face to face, like some of the exercises that they have you go through. So I did like option 5, the McMaster one, because it was tailored to health specifically, but that's online. So then I noticed that I think number 4 was tailored in person. It was tailored to not-for-profit, but it was done in person. Is that number 4? Sorry, as my stuff loads up, but do you have any preference on that?
As chair of the board, yes, I actually believe that number 2, which is the Rotman in-person program of 2 days, it specifically is geared towards senior executives to allow them to work more effectively with the board. And so I feel in the position we're at, it goes past that generalized governance training that would just be for either board members or executives. And this specifically speaks to executives interacting with the board.
Number 2. And I'd like to put on the floor, seeking a seconder, that we discuss option number 2.
Do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second that. That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Rodner, any other further discussion on that? Thank you.
No problem.
No, okay. The only comment I had was that's where I was leaning as well, having looked through them. I think it's very critical for it to be in person for that type of training. And the other thing is that, yes, that one specifically for your level, it's not a mix of directors and senior executives. I think it'll be more geared to what you need. And I think you'll get the most out of that. So those were just my comments. Any further discussion on the motion? So can we have a vote on that? All those in favor? That's carried. And we'll move on to no program. And then move on to new business. And that's 8.1, appointment of chief nursing officer. So the next order of business is appointing Eric Robinson as chief nursing officer. Eric is currently the acting chief nursing officer for Grand Prairie Public Health. And I have a motion to appoint Eric Robertson as chief nursing officer. Immediately, and that's member Metcalf, a seconder, please. Member Sicoli, all those in favor? That's carried. Is Eric here for a quick introduction? Or he's here today. Oh. Want to make sure.
Already taking holidays?
It's working. It's ISPA right now. So they're very busy.
And then we'll go on to 8.2 municipal versus Ministry of Health funding trend. And then I'll call on Brad to bring his report.
Everyone. So this report is following up from a board request seeking information related to the history of municipal versus ministry contributions. The report focuses purely on the cost share split for programs that are meant to be funded through a cost share formula. Therefore, programs or initiatives that are one-time or 100% funded through another source have been omitted from the calculation. The approach to public health funding each year for cost share programs is that the Ministry of Health dictates their funding each year, with the municipality funding the difference between the expenses and the provincial funding that is provided. So within the report, there are a number of tables. The first one indicates the actual dollars of funding from 2022 to 2026. And then the percentage share split. So between 2022 and 2026, the municipal share has grown from 33.1% to 37%. And this is consolidated across Grant County and Haldeman Norfolk. The splits between the two were very similar pre-merger. The second table shows the increases year over year of the funding provided. So the Ministry of Health funding in 2023 versus 2022 went up by 3.5%, and then has dropped to 1.63, 1, and 1, while the municipal in 2023 went up significantly, and then in 2024 to 2026 has kind of bounced between 3 and 7%. And just highlighting that, again, this is not a result of expenses going up significantly. So between 2022 and 2026, the highest year over year increase in expenses was only 5.5%, with 2024 to 2026 being quite reasonable at 2, 3, and 2% respectively. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Member Bell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brad, thanks for doing this. It's no surprise. I guess what is surprising is that it has been trending this way for a long time. When Susan Brown was chair of the former health unit, we met with Sylvia Jones. I think it must have been 2021, but quite a long time ago. Shortly thereafter, there was a bit of a kick up in provincial contribution, but since then it's been this 1% going on forever, and there's still no indication, as far as I can see, of any change to that. So 37 is just going to trend ever more towards 40 and above. So I think we need to state our position that this is unacceptable. But from a municipal perspective, it's unacceptable. I think from a community perspective, it's unacceptable. And I think we should write a letter to Sylvia Jones and copy to our respective MPPs, which I think we've probably got 2 or 3 now, no, probably 4 that cover our area of interest, expressing our concern and saying we would like to see this put back to its original form of 75-25. I don't have a high level of belief that it will happen, but I think if we don't say it, then it will definitely never happen.
Any other comments? Member.
Just at our last council meeting, I know that our chief financial officer province has downloaded close to $4 billion of healthcare funding to the municipality over the past few years. And this, as Member Bell has indicated, if we don't say something now, it's just going to continue in that trend. There's just too much downloading on the municipality, and there's not enough provincial help to administer programs and get things done that we need to get done.
Any other comments? Member.
Just kind of coming off of what Councillor Bell said, or Member Bell said, you know, are we doing delegations with ministers? We have AMO coming up. Is that something we should be exploring? Perhaps either solely representatives from Grand Erie Public Health, or a joint delegation with representatives from all 4 communities, as well as perhaps our chair. Is that And for discussion, is that something that we want to do? I'll be at AMO, Counselor Bell's usually at no, I'm at AMO. You're at AMO, Counselor Husband is there, so we might actually just organically have everyone there. So for discussion, curious if we want to take that on.
Like to make your recommendation. We do that.
I think it's really important to get there face to face. Each time we've actually met with the Minister of Health on whether it's this subject or the hospital, for example, is actually paid benefits. So I wouldn't miss the opportunity.
Do you need a?
Can we have a motion for that? And should we do it as a combination that there's a letter with also delegation?
That's open, yeah. Receive his information, send correspondence to Honorable Sylvia Jones expressing concern regarding the current municipal versus Ministry of Health funding trends, requesting that revert the established funding model. For that the Board of Health schedule a delegation with the ministry at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario regarding the funding model. Is there any amendments?
I would say that we CC all of the MPs, or sorry, MPPs as well.
Yeah.
Representing all 4 municipalities, and then I would add that it be a joint delegation.
Yep.
Between Grand Prairie Public Health and all the municipalities. And then
So should that go to the CEOs as well?
Actually, municipality, should we be CCing them as well?
I think so.
that's fair.
Heads
Yeah.
up. So we have representation from,
Yeah. At the beginning, if it could be, and that staff be directed to organize, that way you guys just take it. Politicians get up,
Yes.
just make it happen.
You wanna read out that or you?
Am I assuming you're seconding that?
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have a seconder as well. Perfect. Do you want a full readout of that or is everyone comfortable with that? So we have the motion and we have a seconder. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. So thank you for that, Brad. And then you're on for, do we have the Finance and Audit Committee? And then
Thank you.
our member Bodnar, I'll have your report.
Thank you. I have provided a written report for the correspondence there. First of all, thank you very much for the committee members for endorsing me as chair. I do appreciate that. Vote of confidence. We met on March 9th. Mrs. Chowan from Millards, who's our auditor for Grand Prairie Public Health, presented the audit planning and report for information purposes. The 2025 year-end report for the Grand Prairie Public Health will merge both the financials for the original Grand County Health Unit and Haldeman Norfolk Health Units into one. Mrs. Chowan will begin trial balances this month in preparation for our next meeting on May the 11th. And Brad Stark has graciously offered to act as our liaison to the Finance Committee. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Have any questions? Members? Seeing none, can I have a mover and a seconder to receive that report for information? Member Huffman, Member Martin seconding that. All those in favor? And that's carried. And 9.2 governance. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. On the topic of finance, would now be an appropriate time perhaps to switch out a member? Or
From,
is that,
can we do that at the notice of motion section? Or
The We can do that as a notice of motion. We can waive the notice with 2/3.
And then
If
do it.
everyone would be agreeable to just waive the notice of motion and forward a motion, I just need a motion to waive the. Yeah.
We'll do that under section 11. We'll bring that up under section 11.
Let's do it.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll do that there and you'll bring a notice of motion, including a motion to waive the notice. We'll move on to 9.2 governance
So
report.
I can bring that forward on behalf of the governance chair, Brisicoli. So this is bringing forward some policies for final board approval. 2 of them are bylaws, banking and finance, and appointments and duties of the auditor. And then we just revised the governance committee terms of reference to remove the stipulations on how often it needs to return to the board for approval, just so it can be, if there's any changes, it can come back to the board. And we will be doing the same with the finance and audit as well. So if there are any significant changes, it just needs to come back before the board. But other than that, it can just be reviewed. We don't expect any significant changes at this time. But for the sake of time, I will leave that there if there are any questions through the chair.
Any questions for Nicole on that? No, seeing none, and I receive a mover for the recommended motion. Mike Bonner. Seconder, member Sicoli. All those in favor? Carried. And then we have our consent agenda items. Does any member wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for debate? Seeing none, can I have a motion to receive the consent agenda items for consideration? Member Metcalf, seconder. Member Bodnar, all those in favor? Great. And now I'll receive any notices of motions from members. Member Sicoli.
Oh, I was just informed that the other city representative would not like to participate in any committee, so I'll just keep doing it all.
Okay,
No need.
okay, so any other,
Good try, Rose.
any other notices? Seeing none. We'll go to number 12, upcoming agenda items. So the following will be presented at our next April 15th meeting, the program reports, environmental health and healthy growth and development. And there will be a strategic planning update at that point. Any other items that have come up in the meantime?
Madam Chair, if I may, and I'm not sure it's the right place to ask, but we are running on 2 provincial appointees when we should have 5. Is there any update?
Through the chair to member Bell, we had this conversation with the ministry the other day. They are following normal appointee practices.
Going slow.
But I would encourage you when they come to visit at 1 o'clock today to ask that very question.
Here for what you asked for.
Says the provincial appointee.
Usually no news is good news, but
No news is no news in for this area, right?
We don't get to vet their appointees.
so anything further? Seeing nothing, let's take 5-ish minute break, 5-10 minute break, and then we'll start our strategic planning workshop.
It for 35 years. Last night, Serena and I were at the Holiday Inn nearby, very nice, and we had a complete blackout in the neighborhood for a while, over an hour. It was fun. Most people, when the power goes back on, they check their messages. I went to I think it's Grandbridge, who provides the power. I looked at their strategic plan just for fun, because that's what I do. And of course, right there, it said, consistency in power, minimal disruptions, modernization of the network, customer service, and those kind of things. And the reason I did that is because the strategic plan, if done right, isn't these words on the wall. It's your outcomes that you want the organization to do. And that's what we've been doing this whole process in speaking to different groups. We've spoken to the senior leadership. We are speaking to you. We are speaking to one-on-one a lot of key partners. We're sending out a survey to staff. We're sending out a survey to partners. And we are speaking to and doing expert research, meaning independent third party who are experts in public health, to also say what they feel are really key. Our process then is to come back to you in a few months with all the data. And the data will include where there is congruence between the experts, staff, the governors, and the partners on what they think is important. It'll be pretty clear where people think it's not so important. And that will allow us to focus on the middle ones where there's a little discussion on where to focus. The process for you today as governors of this organization and the end of the process is simply, it's not simple, but is to provide the outcomes you want. So don't worry about the word strategic planning, et cetera. What are the big outcomes that you demand of this organization to provide to your community in the areas of public health? And they'll run with it. Find the big outcomes, and your staff will find the way to do it. Last night, I don't think the chair of Grandbridge, if I'm getting that right, was saying, go to there and go to there, go to there. But they knew the outcome they wanted, which was get that power back up as soon as possible. And I assume and hope that they had a plan. I don't know what the issue was. They got it back up in an hour, no harm, no foul. But, that's what I thought about. So that's what we're going to have a discussion about. But I'm just going to pause now because it's a preliminary discussion. There's ideas here that may or may not flow through. So I'll pause now as we go into a closed session.
Okay, so can I have a motion to enter into closed session now at 10:52 to discuss items 13.2 pursuant section 239(2) subsection B, D, H, I, and K of the Municipal Act 2001. And rationale being that there are personal matters that could come up, labor relation matters, information that is confidential, there's technical and other industry related stuff that's specifically for our organization that we would not, that is confidential as well. So those are the rationales for that. Could I have a motion? Member Sicoli, a seconder for that motion. Member Bodnar, all those in favor? We'll need a motion to adjourn at this time. So
Regular session.
our regular meeting will adjourn that. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Member McPath, Member Bell seconding, all those in favor? Carried.